And every weekend, he would not work. So he would be on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
So she would say, when he came back on Monday, hey, I saw a guy on TV this weekend who looked just like you.
Right.
Who was on stage. And he goes, no, I'm not. I don't.
No.
No, I don't know this thing. And she never, ever got it.
Wow.
And
He
they
never
went
let her on
out,
the
they
joke.
dated, they went to movies, they traveled
He
around.
got her pregnant.
No, she didn't get pregnant. But it was like, what is going on here? I mean, the second, but and his classic thing was Tony Clifton.
Right.
That he pulled off on Taxi
A
with
very
Jet
brash. He actually got a salary for a character that he made up.
Well, that's what well, the story is.
The
And
check
if
made
you
out to
know
Tony
the
Clifton.
story. It's a great story. He says, as Laka, I can't work this week. I'm just tired. I can't.
Right.
They said, okay, you want a week off? No problem at all. He says, but my friend Tony Clifton can do the show. They said, well, we'll audition. We'll get somebody. He says, no, I really want Tony Clifton to do the show. They said, well, okay. So now of course, he's Tony Clifton. So he comes in and he has this Golden Mace suit and he's got this horrible rug on.
Right.
And he brings in sunglasses, a couple of hookers he brings with him in this big brass Cadillac. Okay? And he pulls up to the gate and they go, yeah, who are you? Because you can't get in the studios without, I can't get in under any circumstances. But
They have a picture up at the security room.
but he comes in and they go, who are you? He says, I'm Tony Clifton. I'm on why am I even talking to you, to the guard?
Right,
Why
yeah.
So he crashes the gate. He goes through the gate.
Good God.
Runs up to the studio with these hookers. And
Sweet.
he's there and he's sitting at the table and they're reading the script.
And there's Judd Hirsch just shaking his head.
That's exactly, you must know the story. Judd Hirsch is like, please, Danny DeVito's come on. I'm an actor.
Right,
Please,
yeah,
stop.
stop it.
So,
Enough, Andy.
yeah, that's exactly right.
Right.
So, Tony Clifton has like 5 lines in the show.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So they finish the script after they read it and he goes, well, this sucks. And they go, well, what's the problem? He says, I'm Tony Clifton.
Yeah.
I have 5 lines.
Yeah.
Tony Clifton does not come in and do 5 lines. They go, well, Tony, that's the way it is this week. So he says, you know what? I'm not even coming in.
Yeah.
Because that's it, I'm leaving.
That's it.
So
Leaves.
he leaves. So they call Andy Kaufman's agent to say, we're having problems with Tony Clifton.
Right.
He says, well, I don't handle Tony Clifton.
Yeah.
He says, Tony Clifton has his own agent.
Uh-huh.
And they go, this is enough!
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's how far Andy Kaufman would go.
That's how far he went. So they called Tony Clifton's agent, and he says, let me tell you something, people. Tony Clifton's upset.
Right. Meanwhile, Tony Clifton is Andy Kaufman, and the character is really just this bad lounge act.
Yeah,
So why
yeah.
this guy has all these demands and why he thinks he's such a big star is already ridiculous and stupid. Like that is the punchline. The punchline is that Tony Clifton is just a bad lounge act,
Yeah.
but he thinks he's the biggest star
He
in the
thinks
world.
he's the biggest star in the world. And
Right.
it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And Judd Hirsch finally put his foot down. He said, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
done.
enough.
Forget it.
That's enough.
Yeah.
We're not going through any of this anymore. This is
Over
no
it.
Tony Clifton. So this is the kicker to the whole thing. The next week, after they fired Tony Clifton, Andy Kaufman comes
He
in.
comes back.
And he said, hey, how's it going? Good,
Yeah.
good. He says, I was in the Caribbean last week. How did Tony do?
Yeah.
And they go, can we stop this, please? And that's why, to me, Andy Kaufman, I
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, what?
But there's people who say he's a genius, so
I
okay,
guess.
I'll let it.
Right.
But most of the acts, that I work with from Lewis, and there's a ton of acts that never ever got there.
Right.
That were, just the best act we ever had. And if you talk to anybody from it, was a guy called Marvin Braverman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Really?
This guy could do everything. Impressions, dialects, everything. And David Brenner had a thing, he always believed this. You must have at least 5 chunks ready to go. Now, that doesn't apply now. You don't need any chunks, you don't need any hunks, you don't need anything anymore.
Right.
But in those days, you needed because once you got on TV, you're gonna be on TV a lot.
Yeah. What was it? The 6 minutes that you do?
Right,
22
exactly.
Laps.
Yeah. So
22 laps to 6 minutes.
that's exactly. Just man, he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in those days, you needed that. So Marvin had this thing. It shows you how far back it goes. He had this thing. This just sounds so old style now. About astronauts landing. Not on the moon, but just going. In those days, they went up into the stratosphere and came back down.
That's it.
And it was a big deal to do that.
Just to do that.
Just to do that.
Right.
And he did a whole thing about it.
Now kids have toys that can do that.
Right. Yeah. Right. So now, the guest host that week was Flip Wilson. This shows you how far back.
Wow.
It
Old school.
goes. So Flip
yeah.
Wilson's the guest host. So Marvin goes on and he does this astronaut thing, and it destroys, just destruction. Bricks come out of the wall. Guys like Brian are calling, please come to my club. Oh my God, I'll pay you. Yes, I have money. I will pay. Only one show, no morning shows, no nothing. Come, please. So Flip Wilson says, that was sensational. It was like a 4-minute chunk that lasted like 10 minutes with laughs. It was just unbelievable.
Oh.
He says, can you come back next week? And he says, yes, I can. So, all right, we're sitting in this Greasy Spoon, the Camelot, which is a horrible restaurant, which is still there in New York on like 44th and 8th.
As bad as it is.
It's horrible. I mean, I came with one of David Brenner's biggest lines from that restaurant because there was always flies and roaches in this restaurant. And everybody's always swatting the flies. And I just said this haphazardly. I said, you ever notice this? You never see any flies die of natural causes.
Right.
People are always swatting at them, you know. And Brennan says, ooh, can I do that? And at the time, I said, do what?
Yeah,
He says,
it was a
I want
throwaway
to do
to
the
you.
flight, a throwaway.
Yeah.
And the next time Brennan was on the Carson show, he says, you never see flies die of natural causes. Bang, big laugh. I go, oh my God!
Oh.
I gave him that line. I didn't even realize that was a joke. So anyway, we're going over Marvin's next thing, and he really doesn't have the material. He's got 2 things. He's got a thing about trapeze, which has a lot of actors, Tony Curtis and these kind of people, and he has another thing about a jailbreak, which is never even worked. So that week, every agent, every manager, everybody's coming in. We saw you. You were unbelievable. You were great. You just destroyed. So now we go up to the Carson show, which was at 40 Rock in those days. 30 Rock, rather. And we go up there, and Greg Tennis is a talent guy. And he knows us, and he's seen us all. And he says, look, you guys, I'm going to split you up because I don't want you guys laughing, hee-hawing, applauding, starting anything. So I don't want any kind of craziness from you morons that are coming in trying to root your man in. That's how close we were. Yeah, that's why I'm dying up here doesn't apply. Because we would go in, and we would root for our guys to do well. So anyway, we go in there, and Flip Wilson's on. He says, here's a guy last week. Oh, my God, he tore it up. Marvin Braverman. And he didn't have the material. And he went down in flames, worse than a kamikaze pilot that got shot down. It was, and you could hear the air conditioner blowing. And it was just horrible.
And that's bad in front of any audience, whether it's 5 people or 500. But when you're in a situation like that, it makes
Flip
it 1,000
had given him
times
such
worse.
a big introduction and his guy and the thing, and I'm not kidding. William Mars dropped him after being with him for a week. Bud dropped him. Captain Brian wouldn't return his calls. He said, you can't even work here as a busboy. Get out. And literally, he had a nervous breakdown.
Wow.
And then the next week, this shows you how bad things got. There was a plane crash at LaGuardia in New York, where everybody in the plane died. His wife was on that plane.
Oh my God.
So he had just bombed. His
Wow.
wife was on the plane, and he just went into full retraction.
Right.
I mean, there was just nothing left.
Wow.
And he took like a year off. He came back as part of an improv group called New York City Stickball Team, but nothing ever happened after that.
Wow.
But he was the baddest guy we had.
Brilliant.
We had some great guys. There's probably about 15 guys that I would say, why didn't this guy happen?
Right.
You know,
Why
there was
didn't
a
this
guy,
person make it?
and there's a guy, I think Brian may have booked him, Barry Sobel.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know Barry. He was
This
in
guy,
Punchline.
yeah, this guy, I couldn't, oh my good, I've seen this guy work like 30 times. Bricks came out of the wall.
Right.
This guy destroyed earthquakes with this guy. And then all of a sudden, it just didn't happen. My good friend who I just talked to, Jeff Altman.
He had, I remember his act. He had, back in the day, I don't know
Back
if
in
he
the
still
day,
does
yes,
anything.
I loved him.
His act was kind of like this, he was a white guy, but like hip hop.
Black guy, yes.
Yeah, he was like a
White
white
black-
boy hip hop guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did the thing about Chaka Khan.
Right.
And then he did the whole takeoff on James Brown. I can't do no more. I can't do no more. And I just thought this guy was the greatest cat in the world.
Right.
Didn't happen. Jeff Altman, nothing. Guy had his own TV show. John Mendoza had his own TV show with Drew Carey and other people. And he died. And you just go, wow, why isn't this happening?
Do you think that because you know, back in the day when, you know, the Comedy Store and the Improv, you know, they were together out there,
Right.
and they had a no paying the comics policy,
Mm.
then there was a bunch of comics that came forward and said, look, I think that we need some money.
I was
So
involved in that.
You were involved in that. There was basically, it wasn't a full-on strike because nobody was technically an
It was a
employee.
full-on strike.
It was
And-
more of a protest than anything else.
No, it was a full-on strike.
Yeah, it was a
What
strike.
happened was,
A
this
strike at the Comedy Store.
Gary Shandling was involved in a passive way because Gary Shandling was a guy who wrote pages of material.
Yes.
I tried to get him to write for me. Nobody talked to Gary Shandling. This guy, Mike Binder, who was a comic, who has a great story of his own, which I can't tell now, but it's not a dirty story, but it's an incredible story. But anyway, Mike Binder had a thing, and he knew Gary Shandling. And I couldn't talk to Gary Shandling. So I said, go over and talk to Gary Shandling and ask him if he wants to write for me. Because he would come in with notebooks every day,
Right.
full of jokes. And he was writing for Sanford and Son at the time. And I said, go over there. And he went over there, and Gary Shandling, I could see him go, no, absolutely not. I'm not writing for him. But the thing that happened with the strike, and this is true, we worked, and this is like Captain Brian's story. We worked the main room at the store, okay? And the store was sold out. Okay, so
Right.
we went down to the restaurant.
There's the main room, the original room.
Right. You know the whole story. Why am
Mitzi
I
had
even
the
talking
belly
to
room,
you?
which the belly room was
'Cause we don't
originally
know
made
it.
For the girls.
women. Yeah,
It was made for the girls.
females. Elaine Boozler did not like that, by the way. She felt like she could hold her own on stage with the boys. She didn't need her own
She
special
could.
girl stage.
She could. But
she still can.
Yeah, but anyway, what happened was we went to this place, Cantor's, and was sitting there, and a couple of the guys couldn't pay their bill. They didn't have
Right.
any money.
Yes.
And they said, God, we just worked 600 seats and we've got no money at all. And Paul Mooney. Mooney's there.
Richard
And,
Pryor's writer and guy. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And he says, well, we should get paid. And we go, oh my God, Mitzi would just go have a conniption fit.
Right.
So we met at my house. Gallagher was there, Elaine was there, everybody was there. And this shows you how crazy it was and how much power Mitzi had. We said, well, how much should we get
Right.
to do a set? Brian will like this price now.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody says, you think $2.50 would be too much?
$250 a set. By the way,
$250 a set.
with hundreds of butts and seats.
And somebody said,
Hundreds,
God,
every night.
can we ask for that much? Will she go for that? So we said, well, we got to go in. And it's almost like that Mikey thing, the commercial, where he said,
Right.
well, I'm not talking to her,
Yeah.
and I'm not doing. So
Uh-huh.
Mooney went up, and he said, because Mooney didn't care, he says, well, Mitzi, the comics think they should be paid $2.50 for a set. And Mitzi said, you ungrateful bastard.
Yeah,
Says,
absolutely not.
I give you guys a showcase. I bring in agents, managers to see you. You deserve nothing. You're lucky to be on my stage. If you ever come back in here with that again, you're all out.
Yeah.
You're ungrateful. You're no good. You're this. And that's the old joke. I guess a BJ is out of the question.
Right. The way that Mitzi saw it as an education. You're at comedy college, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
exactly.
learning. And
Why am I even talking? You go. I don't even want to do the interview.
What happens after
I got
you
like
learn
9,000 shows to do
is
tonight.
now you can go on. Now you can go on tours and you can go to other clubs and stuff, and you can hit the road, and now you can make money that way, and now become a self-sustaining comic. So she saw herself as basically a dean of a comedy university, and she refused to pay the comedians. Refused.
And just violently refused.
Right. The way that the comedian saw it is, look, Mitzi, you are charging a cover charge, meaning, the cover charge, literally the word cover charge means covering the cost of the entertainment. So that money should go towards the entertainment, which in this case is comedians, but Mitzi flatly said no.
So, all right. So now everybody's like, okay, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
So now everybody goes back and they go, the only one way we can do it is strike.
Uh-huh.
So everybody says, So after a year of all this hazarai, finally,
A year.
we said we got to go on strike.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on strike. And we had our sign, our big thing was no bucks, no yucks.
Yeah.
That was our big sign.
No money, no funny.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Right.
Yes, he was there. So we went on strike. Mooney really led the strike. He did the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, Tom Dreesen
yeah.
got out there and he got the media.
And he was the guy that was like the head, practically the coalition, the face of
Yes, he was the face, and he really wasn't, but he was.
He wore a suit.
Yeah, in his suit and everything. So he got on Johnny Carson.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on with Don Rickles and Buddy Hackett, and they came on our side.
Right.
And now,
As did Bob Hope.
A lot of people came on our side. So now the pressure's on Mitzi. Mitzi still takes a stand. This sounds like a joke. We went to the Supreme Court, which was in Sacramento of California.
Right.
And we went and we battled it out in court.
Right.
Mitzi says, I don't want to go through the court course anymore.
Yeah.
I will reluctantly, and if you talk to Mitzi today, she would still go, I don't believe in paying comics to be at the store.
Yeah.
I don't believe. So we got, and then this created a big problem. Everybody got $25 a set, which is a big deal. But the main room, what we got was, we shared in the profits of the main room.
Sure.
So that's the best of. You are the best of. Now everybody says, well, I want to be in the best of.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mitzi made the choice of who's in the best of.
Sure.
So what would happen is, and this I think hurt some careers that guys didn't go further. You'd make like 1,000, maybe 1,500 a weekend because we would be sold out in the main room. So you got a piece of the main room.
Beautiful.
And so guys would just stay in. You didn't have to go do Captain Brian's in morning radio. You said, I'm making $1,500 a weekend. I don't need it.
Yeah.
So guys like Dom Herrera and these kind of guys went, I'm not going out. Argus Hamilton, who has never left the store.
Well, also he was Mitzi's little boy toy.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So Mitzi paid him a salary to be, I'm not even saying the word.
Yeah.
And then he was making like $2,500 a week. He says, I'm not leaving. I'm not going to these Captain Brian's. I'm not going to these, whatever these places are. I'm staying here. So he stayed. Wow. And he has, in 40 years, he has never left. Ever left.
No.
He's a solid comic.
LA comic.
Yeah, LA comic. He's never left. Dom Herrera can't make as much money on the road, even though in LA, he's well known. He kills it.
Yeah.
He destroys it.
That's true.
But here, he would do nothing.
Right.
It's that kind of deal like that. So he never really goes on. He goes on the road sometimes. He goes to Philly and whatever, but very rarely does he get on the road. And he's in your movie, your show.
He is. He plays a character.
He plays a character in the show because he was hanging around.
Right.
It's that kind of deal like that. But that was the deal with the thing. It was a strike. It was a major deal. And Mitzi was the first one to put a lineup in.
Right.
See, we never had a lineup. Well, what happened is he would show up, Captain Brian would be standing there, he'd go, you're on next. And if he didn't like you, you just wouldn't go on.
Right.
But see, now it developed into a whole thing where there's a guy like yourself, you call in on Monday, You sit with Mitzi and you make a lineup, day by day by day by day, and every night there's like 25 guys, and then there would be the
Call in to
agents.
find out your schedule.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So you'd have the CAAs and the ICMs calling, hey, this guy's like I said, Robin Williams got the most agents of all time that came in. I mean, just hundreds. I'm not kidding, hundreds of agents.
But wasn't Robin well known for borrowing from people?
I feel responsible for that because I said to Robin, he was on one time, and he has tremendous energy and tremendous dialects and stuff like that.
But he's just winging it a lot.
And
He's
I
making
said,
most of it up.
I said to Robin, I said, man, if you could ever steal some material, you would be awesome.
And then he did.
He did, and the interesting thing about that, Rawls and Jaffe, which is his agent, you could call from here, from this thing right now, and go, hi, I'm a comic. Robin Williams did my plumber bit last night, and I'm bitching about it. They go, what's your name? Tell me your name. Where do you live? What's your thing? All right, we're sending you out a check. And they would send you $500.
I'm gonna call him right now.
They would send you $500 because Robin literally lived up to that name. He stole everything. There's a guy, Gary Mule there, now he's a legend, Gary Mule there. He could never work here. But anyway,
I love it.
Gary Mule had a thing, he had two great lines. He said, I was working in San Francisco, the Comedy Zoo over there, and Robin Williams came in to steal some material that night, and I wasn't funny, so he stole my watch. Then he says, the other line he says, Robin Williams always steal material. He said, when I first met Robin Williams, I said, hi, my name is Gary Muledeer. And Robin went, hi, I'm Gary Muledeer.
Jimmie Walker.
I'm out. Goodbye. I'm leaving. Tell them about all the shows I have tonight.
I know. Jimmie Walker has 2 shows tonight at the Off the Hook Comedy Club, 6 and 8 o'clock. Make sure you get some tickets. Call them right now at 239-389.
The paper line of comedy.
It's
This
6901.
guy's a legend. Can't sell a ticket, but he's a legend.
OffTheHookComedy.com. You're going to sell a lot of tickets today, my friend. I promise you that, and can't wait to see you next time you come back.
I'm not going to be back, but that's all right.
Jimmie Walker, we'll be back.
Save the tape.